I kind of hesitate to maybe put too many on there. I don't want to get your head swimming. I just, want to show ideas, a certain approach, a certain way to things, and then also establish a watch list. So whether these things work today or 2 weeks from now, I'm always watching these. SMCI looks like it's kind of forming this inverted head and shoulders, broke out, and is now kind of quietening down here. I don't know what it's doing in the pre-market with AMD and what have you, but this thing looks like it's broken out, and it just, the more it consolidates, I think the more it's setting up for, a move to the upside. Maybe not quite ready yet, but certainly needs to be on the watch list. As with Lyft is kind of broken out, kind of contained. The quieter the prices, the more stability, the more this kind of just tightens in this thing, the better the setup. You kind of had this little flush out down here, so I don't know if we're done with another flush out, but again, the more this kind of just stays very quiet and tight, and you start getting these higher lows, this is a great setup. You already know what the trend is. This is the consolidation, the calm before the storm, lift. So, I love it when things go this way, and the longer, the better. This is a little stock. These kind of things start getting going and they get untethered. Richland Robotics. Again, the market loves these themes. 2 weeks ago it was the quantum stocks, QUBTS and IONQ, and they just went ballistic. Then they rotated into the nuclear stocks with OKLO and NNE. I think SMR, now that I'm thinking about it, is a good setup going into this week. I'll put that up. But, we have this nice little flag. Again, we're right at the top of the flag. This is under the category of don't chase. If this thing gets away, it gets away, but wait for it to get, tight or, just calm down, pull back something. But, I think this thing's going to fly. UMAC is, again, one of these things that was in this kind of long-term symmetrical triangle when we looked at it at 11, and now it's 50% higher. And I think just going to keep going. So again, we're trading at this breakout area, kind of need to just see a consolidation, but it's also possible that this thing just, keeps going. It broke out at here, another little bull flag. So this thing looks like it's just going to keep going higher. This looks bueno. Just see what Lyft is doing. Yeah, it's consolidating right on this 10 EMA. It's kind of not doing much. So we have a little reversal in here. Maybe not ready for prime time, but the more this thing consolidates, at some point it's going to get really interesting. Just some other names. Cypher trading at these highs. Cores also just consolidating at these old highs. Broke out. More just stays tight. And then BBAI kind of formed this flag now, and maybe this is kind of, ready to take a shot in here. Formed this little flag down here, and you never know when these things get going, but they all somehow get their turn, and then they go ballistic. This BBAI is just starting to percolate, break out of here, and maybe a good little risk-reward trade. It may happen, it may not, but I think the risk-reward favors the bold. This is, again, I think the thematic stock, they just pick these themes for the week and really rotate into them. You had aerospace last week, nuclear the week before, quantum the week before that, and maybe robotics. These two are the top tier robotics. Richland Robotics, now just starting to break out. I guess this is under the category of, chasing. You kind of just want to see this thing settle back, but it just may just take off. Whereas SERV, I don't know. I wouldn't trade this right now. I'd want to see this kind of consolidate a little more. I'm just putting this on the radar, something to watch. I think they come for all of these. This is just a giant consolidation, and I think they eventually just, these things, you'll look back, and I think if the IWM starts catching fire, these are the kind of stocks that will just go ballistic. So yeah, let me, we start talking about this on Friday, so I'm gonna just remember these things off the top of my head. I'm trying to think which perspective looks So what's happening in a lot of these stocks, you get these huge impulse moves. You can't really see it as well on the daily. And then they just settle down and go into this very quiet pony. We were looking at pony at 15, and now it's quietly at 25. But you had this long-term slumber in the form of this symmetrical triangle. I threw this up on the community platform on Friday. I started taking a small poke at it. Kind of the same thing. You have this impulse move higher, and you're starting to, at the mature end of this symmetrical triangle. Now, you could still take a poke down here. That's what these things do. They always have kind of a false move. They close on the low, right into the bottom of the triangle. You might have to, kind of come back here to 23 bucks, in which case I'd probably buy more, because this thing looks like it's already started, and at some point they're going to come for this thing, TVTX. But I'm just trying to show you the shape. We were talking about this on Friday before the market opened, and the stock was up 15% at one point on Friday. This one you really can't see as well, BTDR, but it really kind of had the same flavor where you had this symmetrical triangle and then you start breaking out. And so this was at 14 and now it's 25% higher. And then cores, and I know I'm forgetting one. There was one that I traded that made a ballistic move, and I can't remember what it was. I go through thousands of symbols and I just forget. And there's cores. It's kind of the same thing. You have the move up, you have this long term, just puts you to sleep, but it kind of all has the same thing. So what I try and do is just get you to fix your eyes on these things, because once you see these things, you can't unsee them. And a lot of these stocks are settling into these kind of quiet. There's another one that's happening right now. I just got a million symbols in my brain. But this is the idea, is that you have this move, and then the longer kind of this is the quiet before the storm. And TVTX looks like it's kind of happening right now. And then I think RVMD maybe too. Yeah, kind of different looks. RVMD looks like it's coming out of this double bottom. It's cleared the neckline, but this TVTX, I put this up on Friday. I started taking a poke at it. It may not quite be ready, but these are the kind of things that they eventually come for. So we may need to kind of retest the bottom. And sometimes these things will come and they'll just close on the low like this, and it'll look really bad. And then it's off to the races. But I think this whole structure, you've had the run up, and then this is these symmetrical triangles. The quieter it goes, the better. And what I've started to do is start to kind of test out these exponential moving averages, because what happens is the closer this kind of gets to the 10 and the 20, it kind of gives you the clue when it's ready to go. So the closer it gets to this 10 EMA, and then if it goes quiet, you get these small bars. This is where it goes. So I'm kind of using these EMAs now to kind of get these smaller moves, closer to where I think they're gonna break out from. I don't use as a contrary, because we don't use really indicators at the pattern trader. I just use these. But what I'm using these EMAs is to try and test how close they can walk up to here before they get going. Because, this will get quiet for a while. And then the more it kind of holds these things, that kind of gives you an indication that it's closer to get ready to go. RVMD kind of had this nice little bull flag. It's kind of right at the top, so we need to just kind of see how this thing, but this has also cleared the neckline of a head and shoulder. This thing looks like it's eventually going to get going. So I think that, there were some short ideas, even in a bull market. I made some money on the downside in Team last week, and this Credo, although it's up today, the CRDO, I think it's up again today, but I'm kind of watching this lower. You had a big reversal on Friday. I think it's up pretty substantially in the pre-market. And then this WLDN looks like it's formed this double top and just, in a descending triangle. And this thing looks like it's ready to go lower. WLDN. Team, been very bearish on this. It cracked the 150 last week. Little consolidation, little bear flag, and then it's ready to go again. Twilio looks like kind of a long-term bear flag. You had the impulse move down, and now it looks like you're starting to crack on Twilio. And then McDonald's also looks like it's kind of failing. It's this head and shoulders, this rounded top, And, any started cracks under this 300, this thing looks like it could retest this 285. So Sean says, can you get more than one dump inside a consolidation? Still, yeah. I mean, VEEV is an example of that. VEEV has really tested my patience. I got long again. I don't know I think it might be up a little bit in the pre-market. I don't know what's going on. VEEV, and then like run, I'm trying to think. Also Grawl was an example. So here's an example of multiple kind of attempts, breakouts, dump back in here, breakout, dump, and then I don't know if we're going to get another one. This thing should go by now. You had a bit of a reversal on Friday, and we'll just have to see if it takes that out now and just see what VEEV's doing. It's starting to piss me off. I've got a lot of money tied up in this thing. It just doesn't want to do anything. It's barely up. I'm probably just not going to give this too long. It had a bad 4-hour on Friday. Doesn't look so good. And then run had also multiple breaks out, breaks hard, breaks out, breaks hard, and then starting to go higher. Here's one that, these things are subtle. And I don't want to kind of just take you guys all over the place. It's just better to concentrate on one strategy, one setup. These things are giving you a lot of looks, but it's just, probably not good to spend a whole lot of time here. But these markets will do the best to flush you out. So you have a hard dump, then you have a second dump that's less, and then you rising lows, and then you break out. So there's a certain cadence to some of these things. So they go hard, less hard, starts evening out. And so this is kind of what Oscar looks like, OSCR, this kind of cup and handle look. And look at this. This is what, you get when you start breaking out of these structures, Rocket Lab and all these things, when you start coming out of these weekly support things or daily, they just the train leaves the station. This kind of looks like it's had a big run up already, but these things just dump less and then start breaking out of this. So I don't want to be all over the place. I'm always trying to kind of figure out how to, some of these moves are just very different. Rocket Lab has been really hard. But for me, I just try and, when you get in here, it gets really hard to kind of compartmentalize, for lack of a better word. But the way I've been looking at Rocket Lab is that, you have a huge move, and then this was the guiding formation, this bull flag. And the thing about these flags, the more I kind of look at the behavior is all over the place. It can come out in many different variations. It can go, it can retest, it can go and then come back. But you can see here, it kind of retested back down here. And this is why I say you don't want to really chase. Once you want to get these things early. So I try and get flags right there. If I don't get it there, then I don't take it. I don't start trying to get it up here. Even though there may have been a little left, if I don't get it right so I like to get it right here, actually, I would buy this on the close. You have this key reversal right into the flag. Toll Brothers, I did that on Friday or Thursday last, and then it broke out of here. So again, this is where the discipline, coming back to that daily affirmation, kind of set up your rules and only do your rules. So when I look at a flag like this, this is where I want to buy it. And you can see there's all kinds of chop here and crap, but I'm still above that. Once you start coming here and you say, okay, I missed it, I got to get here, if you don't get out, then you're down there. So this one was very turbulent. I caught a piece of this here. I usually get out at the top of the flag and then wait. And you can see that was the way to go. And then it really came back down and almost retest the bottom of the breakout of the flag. And then you just, these dumps, you try and see, okay, where's the lowest low? And then where does it hold? So it's that same thing where you kind of dump right hard back into the trend. And you're seeing a lot of these things. And then you wait for the ultimate low, wherever that low is. And then you wait to see if this thing's going to hold. And at some point, you could just put a buy stop here and a sell stop under the low. And that's kind of what I'm looking at VEEV right now. VEEV dumped back in, and now I want to kind of see these lows hold. So this is a good example. This is a really good example. And I'm going to be out. If these lows don't hold, I'm done. So, I bought this up here around 300, and then it just dumped hard on Friday. And now I'm going to want to see if these lows hold. If these lows, keep holding, you can almost buy it above here. Just buy it in here and put your stop there. For example, I don't love this thing. This thing just needs to get going. And that 4-hour reversal. So I need to see these lows hold. If they don't hold, I'm gone. But this is a good example. You dump back in the trend, and then you wait to see whatever the lowest low was, which is about here. Right now, it's kind of holding, but if it fails to hold, I'm not sticking around to see how the movie ends. And that's a good example of you get a break into the trend, just wait to see if there's any follow through. If there's no follow through, it's going to go the other way. So this is a good example. Looks like it's not doing much on the pre-opening. So this low is 294. I'm going to be gone if that takes that out. Let's see, I'm also in STOK. Holy crap, it's up 10%. See, this is, been on my buy list. I bought a lot of this last week, and now it's up 10%. So this is a game of patience. All these things that I put up here, they may not happen today, may not happen this week, but they've been happening. Wow. It's a pretty exciting move. So this is STOK. That's an hour. I don't get an hour. I've been, talking about this stock for a long time. And this is a perfect setup. This is a A+ 5-star setup. You have a huge up move, and then you really don't come back. I don't know what this pullback was. It wasn't probably 5% or 10%. This move from 12 to 25, it's $12, and then you pull back 2. So call it a 15% pullback. Very contained, not 30, not 50. And here was a perfect flag. And again, so this is what these things do. They really test you where they break out. This is where you don't want to chase it, right? You don't want to buy at the top of the flag. I want to buy it early. If I don't buy it here, I don't buy it. I wait till 3:30. I wait to see these flags, and then I'm buying it there. And then I'll get rid of some at the top. And this is, again, typical thing. It breaks out, hits the top, comes back, and almost retests it. But you can see this is why I'm using these EMAs. This thing came right back to this 10 EMA and held each time. So I was long this thing, and I'm, wondering if it's, going to keep going. And as long as it holds, and then it closed on new highs on Friday. I bought more. This is an unbelievable looking. This is you can't get a better looking chart than this. This is so smooth. Uptrend, slight consolidation, retest to the EMA, bang, and you're up 10% today. And I was saying this thing's going to $30 back here. So this is now let's drop 5% in a minute here. So there's something going on. This is the stock TVTX that we're looking at. Let's see what happens there. RNA, I like the look of this. Let's see what happens there. Qualcomm, this thing feels like it's going to be an AMD also. I think Qualcomm looks like it wants to go much higher. And here's AMD. I was talking about this last week, and I said this looks like it's going to be an MU. MU went from 113 to 185 in 2 weeks. And this kind of looks like the same. And here we are up here now. Lyft, I think, just needs more weeks to consolidate, but I think it could be like stock, where it just goes into a very quiet consolidation, doesn't pull back more than 10 or 15%. Oscar, train is leaving the station. This thing is ready to giddy up and go. That's almost market opening here. So Oscar looks like this giant cup and handle. This is a monthly chart, and we're about to crack these. It basically is now taking that out, and this thing could just go vertical. No, and I don't like to chase. I like I said, if I don't get something at a certain point, then you just got to wait for the next setup. That is the discipline. So here's an example of, and this was on my buy list over the weekend. I love this setup. So this is how I bought this thing on Thursday. So here was the flag. It's perfect, right? This giant up move, this consolidation between two parallel lines. And then this is how it closed on Thursday, right at the top of the flag. So that's where I buy it. Now I don't buy it, as it's, getting going. I'm not saying it's, I think it's going to keep going. My thing would be, come back to the top of this flag. But, I don't like to chase a gap. I don't like to chase. I don't like, it really comes down to, getting things right, because this could do anything at this point. There's a little thing right here at 146. I expect that's where you're going to get hit hard, maybe come back in here. So these flags can do anything. Come back and retest, consolidate. So you want to kind of get in at the right place. Look, I think this looks great, and it's probably going to keep going. 146 is the area that it's probably going to have some kind of, you can see it's already backing off here. So it's about buying things correctly. I don't know what's going on with this thing, but if it goes to 294, I'm gone. I don't think it will. I think this thing's going to 340. It's a very erratic trading symbol. It goes quiet and then it's up $2 and down $1, and it's very erratic. But I think this eventually is going to break out of this long-term trading range. This thing looks like it should go to 320 in a hurry, VIV, but it's kind of giving me a heart attack in the meantime. TVTX starting to show signs of life. We'll see what happens. VSEC is one of these things that pop back into the range, and just have to keep an eye on it, but it feels like it's going to go higher. Is there anything anybody wants to, like the Sterling infrastructure, TSSI? So it looks like stock is up 6.5%. My target was between 28 and 30 for this stock. This thing looks like it's really leaving the station, and the next thing is like $33. The resistance is right here. This thing looks bueno. Rocket Lab, I'd wait for a pullback in consolidation there. OKLO, flag, breakout. ELF kind of looks interesting. Just don't know if it's a trap. It's got a flag here. I just don't like the weak. I'm gonna have to see how. It's still got, so I've been watching ELF. I didn't take it. It's got this flag. It's consolidated. No, it's got a little reversal here. See, this TVTX could be interesting. This is the same symmetrical triangle pattern. Just don't know if it's mature enough yet. May, need to pull back here. Anything can happen. But, it's testing this little breakout. If we can start clearing these highs, it just could come out of nowhere. This RVMD, I like this too. Financials, the financials that are getting interesting are the private equity. They starting to buckle. KKR, this could be previews of coming attractions. If this private equity market starts coming apart, this could, so this is KKR and private equity starting to, you can see these ugly double tops, this giant sell. I think there was another one, OWL, and these could be previews of coming attractions. So you can see OWL, also Blue Owl Capital, private equity, starting to crack. JPM's got this little reversal up there. It still looks pretty much intact. These moving averages bother my eye. I just like to see where these things, looks like Citigroup's going to have another, but it feels like they're starting to see some resistance in here. Yeah, you can see kind of a bit of a rounding top in here in the XLF. You have to see how that plays out. It's just right now, just gone into consolidation. So what I look for, guys, is things that are moving, right? I just don't want to trade things that are asleep, that are in consolidation, that are sideways. Take your money and run, and go into an Oscar or go into a Rocket Lab or go into, we're traders here. There's an investment style and a trading style. And what I'm trying to do is look for 3 to 5 day swing trades that can make 30, 50, 100% on a move. This is starting to go sideways. The XLF, which is the ETF for the whole thing, kind of got this potential rounding top, some signs of reversals in here. So right now it's a big up market. It's just in consolidation. It could go this way for months, so to me, it's like you have a limited amount of capital. You want to make use of it in the best way and, see where the markets that are moving. And those markets are starting to get a little uplift here, Sean. I don't know if you still held your options, but I think options are tough for these things because you never know when they're going to move. They could go sideways for a long time, and that just kills option premium. So I bought a lot of stock in this TVTX. You can see it's making a play now. Friday's high is 25.37, and looks like this thing could break out. And then I just put my limits all the way up here, just in case you get one of these huge moves. it could go up $2 in a heartbeat and then down $2. So I always leave a take profit somewhere up in here, you know, to get a piece if it comes out of here. TVTX, I like. That team is now under sub 150 again. This is the bad looking bear market. I like this TARS. This is the one we talked about, and it's now making new highs. So you do the work and the plays keep coming. This is sound. I think this thing's going to take off. SOUN. I started pointing it out at the lower part. I bought it down there, right there at that key reversal. Same thing coming out of a flag. Serve. I just talked about this today. It's up 6% now. I think they're going to come for this thing. Run up 2%. Rocket Lab up 3%. Pony. Yes, Blue Owl Capital. So this is private equity. This is starting to tell you something. ONDS. So these are the kind of charts that I look at. Things you want to make 17% move in an hour. And that's what's happening. You can see how these things hug these, you know, 10 EMA and then just get going. Knee, I like lift. I think they're going to come for this too. This may take another week of sideways, maybe like a V, go up, bound, but eventually I think it's going to go higher. Lift. IMS, I don't know. This looks like it's breaking out of this flag, but I don't like it. CoreWeave, it's got this, it's an early stage IPO. It looks like it's breaking out of this long-term flag. I don't like it. And then this CoreWeave, this felt like a short into today's higher opening. It just feels like this is a kind of a bear flag setup. So I'm kind of watching this to short CRDO. Cores is taking out new highs. BWXT. This is the stock we talked about on Friday. The space, you know, ASTS, the space theme thing. They get hold of these themes and they keep going. This is a stock I was looking at, ARRY. I think this thing will eventually go. It looks like it's breaking out of a inverted head and shoulders. This is also this private equity thing. They're all breaking down. OWL, KKR, ARES. So there's some cracks under the hood here, and it could metastasize. This is either going to move or I'm going to dump it. It's still holding these lows tenuously. So as long as it holds these lows, if it starts getting above the 298.5 and holds these lows, but I don't know, I just don't like the way this thing came off and probably should just dump it here. I'm just going to see if it holds these lows, but I will not overstay my welcome. This is this BBAI. It's up 3%. So yeah, just watch your 6. It looks like these markets are really something's. So I think these markets could come out of anywhere. These indexes, things are, you know, this BBAI, it's up 5% already. Yeah, so the Q's open higher, now they're reversing. So, you know, we'll see. There's going to be a lot of volatility up in here. And so you really have to be objective. You have to buy right and not chase. And it really kind of I know it was subtle. There was a lot included in today's daily affirmation. Go ahead and reread it. There's a lot to interpret in there, but it's all about knowing your rules and sticking to your rules. Because if you start adjusting to things that are on the fly, that's when you start getting in trouble. It looks good now, and an hour later, it could be, you know, tears. So you can see that IWM is testing these new highs, broke out and made a new high, kind of pulling back. And, you know, I think there's just going to be a lot of volatility here, but these good stocks will keep working. All right. Any thoughts, ideas? I'll leave it there. I don't know if I left with more confusion than when I started, or if you got any value out of today's session. I always appreciate the feedback. You know, some of this stuff can be overwhelming. And that's the thing, is the idea is to try and simplify. Whatever the way you see the market, the way you visual, you have to eventually, you know, take some of these ideas and make them your own. And that's the key. You know, there's just many ways to peel the onion. There are so many ways to trade. And that's the problem. If you get into trouble and then you think, well, now I need to do a new strategy. And then you do a new strategy. Then you're actually never learning. The idea is to pick one strategy and just understand that through good and bad and refine it and make it your own. And because if you're always jumping, strategy hopping, you're never going to get there. The markets will change. And to me, it's always about, you know, looking for areas where the risk is very small. This game is all about risk and capital conservation. Everything else, when it gets exciting and when things are going and things are running, it's, there's all kinds of emotions. And that's the thing, is to take the emotion out, is to wait for times where, you get a pullback or you can buy it right. And if you can't buy it right, then don't buy it at all. Rather miss it. I guarantee you there's going to be another bust. I got 500 stocks, probably 600 stocks that I go through. And there's always a setup that you can buy it right. So we're right at this flag on the weekly, but you've had such a nice run up that it just suggests that there should be a good move out of this. And now the question is, you get a little breakout, and does it, come back in here? Does it have to digest that? There's just a million ways that this thing can go. So you just want to watch it right here. And this thing needs to hold, go back up. Or if it comes back in here, then, it's back to the rate. And that's why, you need to kind of get in at a good spot. So I bought this thing around 140. Yeah, right here at this close. I have a $2 cushion, and, just see what this thing looks like. I still think it looks very good. Just needs to kind of digest this little breakout out here. But it's all about buying right and not chasing. Once the train's left the station, leave it. And well, it looks like, Sean, we may get something going here. Did you hold your options, Sean? Which options did you buy? See, I like trading options, but some of these things can take longer. You may get a good move here. This thing is now coming out of the station. I'm probably going to add to my position. So this is the breakout. You want to buy the breakout and not chase it afterwards. Next stop looks like around 26, 3 weeks out. That's pretty good. Hopefully this should happen. This could happen very quickly. Weekly highs right here, 25.45, we're right there. See, it is holding these lows. It is subtle. Famous last words, in about 2 minutes, it just probably drop right through there. This thing is very erratic trading. It'll go quiet and then it'll be up $3. Go quiet and down 2. So but this is kind of that concept of the pump and dump, the beach ball underwater kind of effect. Break out to new highs and you break back hard, straight down. But then you hold these lows. And now if you can start taking this out, you can buy it here and put your stop there. So it's critical that these lows hold. 25.50 now, Sean. You are welcome. All right, guys. It's starting to pick up steam here. VSEC's the same thing. This beach ball underwater, same thing. I think when I start talking about it, I'm going to refer to it as the beach ball effect. Breaks out to new highs and dumps hard. Before you can breathe, you're underwater. But if you bought it for the right reason, it's not a panic buying more. So as long as it holds this low, you can see it's holding these lows. If it starts kind of getting above here, you're good to go. And you can see this is very orderly. This looks just like V. You have the up move, and there's no real contraction. This is not even a pullback. It's just if you bought it up here, that's not a good feeling. But the reality is there's no reason to panic. This is not a sell pattern. And the more this thing goes here, it's just setting up for the next move. But it's the same idea. Run up, consolidation. Yeah, this thing looks like it wants to take off. Next high is 26.07. All right, guys, have a great trading day.